the name of the Lord. All things are possible in the name. All things are possible in the name. Oh, the name has been given unto us. Over our families, over our jobs, over our homes. Lift up your hands and say, Jesus, the name above all names, above any financial situation, above any health situation. Say, Lord, the name Jesus. Oh, Jesus, 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 Jesus. Jesus over my family. Jesus over deliverance. Jesus. Oh, hallelujah. He's a mighty, mighty, mighty God. Yeah, yeah. Stand amazed in your presence. There is nothing you cannot do. Stand amazed in your presence. There is joy, peace, and hope. Yeah, there's no one like you, Jesus. There's no one like you in all the earth. Nobody like you, Jesus. There's no one like you. You do mighty things. You do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome each and day. You do mighty things. You do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome each and day. I stand amazed in your presence. There is nothing you cannot do. Wave your hands, say, Lord, I stand amazed in your presence. There is joy, peace, and hope. Oh, there's no one like, nobody like you. Yeah, yeah. There's no one like you in all the earth. Nobody like you, Jesus. Nobody. There's no one like nobody. Yeah. You do my Lift up your hands. You will do mighty things for me. You will do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome is your name. Mighty God.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today 95.1 FM.
Top of the morning to you. It is Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people, and it is time again for us to take a look at some stories that made headlines in different newspapers here in Nigeria this Sunday morning. Of course, we'll be starting with the Punch newspaper this morning, and our first headline today is a Nigerian woman arrested in Hong Kong with cocaine. A Nigerian woman arrested in Hong Kong with cocaine. Reported that customs officer at Hong Kong International Airport, they recovered more than half of a kilogram of cocaine from a Nigerian woman who allegedly hid the drug in her body. So the South China Morning reported that one. She's 27-year-old. She arrived in the city on a flight from Lagos via Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. On the Punch newspaper this morning, this report says 2.1 billion naira fraud. FIRS tightens internal control to stop diversion. 2.1 billion naira fraud. FIRS tightens internal control to stop diversion. So the Federal Inland Revenue Service has tightened its expenditure control mechanism following an alleged 2.1 billion naira fraud that rocked the organization. The top official of the agency, who spoke on condition of anonymity, told the Punch on Saturday that a memo had been issued to all departmental heads. newspaper, this headline says Easter, Ikeja Electric promises smooth service delivery. The Ikeja Electric PLC has assured customers across its networks of its commitment to ensuring hitch-free services during the Easter holiday. So the firm, in a statement on Friday, said it would deliver efficient services to its customers. The head corporation communication, Ikeja Electric, Mr. Felix Ofulwe, while wishing all customers a safe and enjoyable holiday. So the headline to that particular one on the Punch newspaper this Sunday morning is Ikeja Electric promises smooth service delivery. This other one says APC in fresh plot to smear Adeleke, PDP alleges. APC in fresh plot to smear Adeleke, PDP alleges. Party on Saturday alleged that leaders of the All Progressive Congress were plotting new set of fabrications and allegations to discredit and smear its 2018 governorship candidate in Osun State. That's in person of Senator Ademola Adeleke. And the headline once more to that story on the Punch newspaper still remains APC in fresh plot to smear Adeleke, PDP alleges. $6 billion bonds post-election, says CBN. Nigeria attracts $6 billion bonds post-election, says CBN. Nigeria attracted bonds worth $6 billion after the recent elections, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria. So the CBN noted that the Nigerian bond market continued to remain one of the most attractive investment destinations. The CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, said following the successful conduct of the general elections in February 2019, over 6 billion naira bond post was attracted. You could visit the Punch newspaper to get more details on that particular story, and the headline remains Nigeria attracts $6 billion bond post-election, says CBN. at some stories that made headlines on the Punch newspaper this morning. And after this break, we will take a look at stories that also made headlines in other newspaper here in Nigeria this Sunday morning. Stay tuned. It's still Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
95.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back.
Good morning, sir.
My pikin, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, sir.
You dey go school?
Yes, sir.
Make sure say you read.
Madam, please, can I have one small juice and 2 biscuits there? Please be fast.
Okay, customer, bear no vex. I dey come, make I bring them.
Let me talk.
No, you're late. You're late already.
Plantain, buy plantain.
See as this small girl dey cross this busy road anyhow.
Sweet plantain.
So your mama no know say you too young to dey hawk?
Now one for mama, oh. I beg come on for it, make I cross road.
Made in China.
Oh, buy your plantain.
Leave the road.
The fact that you're not financially buoyant doesn't mean that you should abuse your child. Most times, these children don't have the capacity or knowledge to carry on the tasks. Education, they say, is an important aspect in a child's life. So do well not to take away that opportunity from them, as it will affect them later in the future. Remember that giving out your child for early marriage could also affect the child's life. So stop child trafficking. Avoid sending them out in the name of making money, because the children today are the leaders of tomorrow. Don't ruin their future with your ignorance. Say no today to child abuse. Say no today to child trafficking. Say no today to child marriage. This message is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM.
We are the future. We are the dream. We are the nation. We are part of this. Yes, we are so amazing. That's the least we shall be.
Every day on Today 95.1 FM, there's always an opportunity to comment and air your views on our various programs. It's not just about us. It's about you, your opinion, and your voice.
President, don't you think that it's time to step down, sir?
Be part of the story, the gist, reactions, intrigues, and the news.
President Neil Patrick Harris has called for greater regulation.
Give us a feedback or join the conversation. On Twitter at TodayFM951. Our Facebook address is Today95.1 FM, or join us on the number 0701 933 9962. That's our WhatsApp application. Be informed, be educated, and have fun. We are Today 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
95.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back.
Welcome back. It's still the newspaper review here on Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. And before we went on the short break, we took a look at some stories that made headlines on the Punch newspaper. And now we'll be moving on to the Vanguard newspaper, and we'll be starting with this headline that says 30,000 Naira minimum wage. Labour sets a deadline for the release of implementation table. 30,000 Naira minimum wage. Labour sets a deadline for the release of implementation table. So the Organised Labour has told the Salary, Income and Wages Commission, NSIWC, that the release of the circulation and implementation table of the 30,000 Naira new minimum wage should not exceed this week, as workers have exhausted their patience waiting for the new salary. This came as as Labour called on the 9th National Assembly and well-meaning Nigerians to prevail on governors to pay workers their salaries and pension to pensioners and when due to avoid industrial unrest. So President Muhammadu Buhari had on Thursday, April 18th, assented to the bill transmitted to him by the National Assembly on March 27th, bringing to end the battle for a new national minimum wage that started in 2017 after Buhari inaugurated a tripartite committee sequel to the organized labor's agitation that the 18,000 naira minimum wage with 5 years lifespan had elapsed since 2015. Sunday Vanguard, president of one of the public sector unions, Amalgamated Union of Public Corporation, Civil Service Technical and Recreational Services Employees, AUPCTRE, Comrade Benjamin Anthony, called on the NSIWC to do the needful and issue the necessary circulation and table of implementation to ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs of the federal government for immediate action. He said the commission should within this week issue the implementation circular with a complying table to the MDAs and to state based on the approval for immediate implementation, insisting that there was no need for any more delay as the law stipulates immediate effect. Newspaper this morning. This headline says, killer headsmen, bandits, kidnappers. It is time for state police before we all die. It is time for state police before we all die, says Khan. Of thousands from their ancestral homes in different parts of the country. The president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Kan Samson Ayokunle, says the country is more than ripe for states to have their own police or security outfits. This, he said, was necessary for states to ensure adequate protection of lives and properties, noting that Nigerians are at the mercy of killer herdsmen, bandits, kidnappers, amongst others. Sayo Kunle, who spoke during an interface with internally displaced persons, IDPs, in Jalingo, Taraba State capital, urged the federal government to institute an inquiry into the proliferation of arms in the country, their sources, and commence the process of mopping up. He queried why there was prevalence of unknown gunmen. His words, I quote, "The people that are attacked know those attacking them, but what they don't know are those equipping their attackers with ammunition," he lamented. I have taken this matter to Mr. President at Aso Rock several times, and I am just pleading with Mr. President that Mr. President would show more concern by not just sending the police or army to those communities, but also ensure they get those killing people arrested. As we have always said, the time is more than ripe for Nigeria's state and community to have their own security outfits like other developed nations. It is high time we do an appraisal on how we have been doing things and how things are supposed to be done. So the Taraba State Coordinator of IDPs, Dauda Goodin, who described the IDP's condition in the state as unfortunate, noted that displaced persons had started dying in their various camps. No fewer than 11 IDPs, he claimed, had lost their lives since January, adding that their ancestral homes are still not safe and called for more security presence to enable them return home. Newspaper says it is time for state police before we all die, says Khan. Killer headsmen, bandits, kidnappers. It is time for state police before we all die, says Khan. Now, moving on, this headline says corpses in Igwe Obosi's palace story. Nwabude, not our prime minister. Of Igwe Obosi says Chief Nwabude is not the Prime Minister of Obosi, Anambra State. In a reaction to a Sunday Vanguard story published in the royalties section, it said the Obosi monarchy is 400 years old and parades over 30 kings in its ancient history. It still operates as a monarchy, not a social club, unlike most other kingdoms in Anambra, whose traditional prime ministers are titled Onowu. The Prime Minister of Obosi is titled Iyasele, currently occupied by Chief Collins and Nibogo, and whose kindred holds sole rights to the Iyasele title. Therefore, the claim of Chief Nwabude, who claimed to be the Prime Minister of Obosi in one Sunday Vanguard story as at 7th April 2019 this year, under the headline Ex-Minister Chidoke, two others in the eye of the storm, is false. Nwabude, who questioned Chidoke's suspension, is Chidoke's blood relation and ranks number 13 in the royal cabinet. He's neither the Prime Minister nor Igwe's second in command, as headlined and stated in the said story. So you know, you could visit the Vanguard newspaper, pardon me, to get more details on that particular story and the previous one, and you could see for yourself. Expatriate lady, one other killed in Kajuru. Expatriate lady, one other killed in Kajuru. Expatriate lady and another person were killed in Kajuru by suspected kidnappers, who also abducted 3 other persons from a popular resort in the area. So the victims of the latest attack reportedly came from Lagos as tourists to the resort and were allegedly attacked at about midnight while hosting a party. While confirming the report to the State Police Command, said efforts are being made to rescue the abducted persons and bring perpetrators of the incident to book. The command spokesman Yakubu Sabo in a statement appealed to anyone with useful information to contact the police. The statement reads, on 20th April 2019 at about 20:00 hours, we received an information through DPO Kajuru that about 2340 hours, some suspected kidnappers armed with dangerous weapons gained entry into a recreational resort called Kajuru Castle in the Kajuru local government area, shooting sporadically, and in the process shot dead 2 persons, including an expatriate lady, and took away 3 others. Patrol teams led by the DPO rushed to the scene and evacuated the victims of St. Gerald Hospital. Investigations shows later revealed that the victims, along with 12 others, came from Lagos on tourism, after which they organized a party at the castle located at the hilltop, during which the incident happened. Normally, whenever such social events would happen, the organizers used to inform the police for security coverage, but the party was done without the knowledge of the police in the area, as traditionally done. However, intensive efforts are being made by the command to rescue the kidnapped persons, apprehended and fleeing culprits, and bring them to justice. The Commissioner of Police CP Ahmed Abdulrahman appeals to the members of the public to assist the police with relevant information that would help in the arrest of the perpetrators of this heinous act. Headline from the Punch Vanguard newspaper says expatriate lady, 1 other killed in Kajuru. Edo State's government charges women on frontline role in politics. Edo government charges women in frontline role in politics. To ensure women are empowered to contribute meaningfully to national development, the Edo State government has said it has set up structures and programs to ensure women are given the opportunity to take active roles in politics and governance. Newspaper quickly before we wrap up the program. This one says 11 killed. 11 killed after Good Friday church service. Many missing in Benue community. 11 killed after Good Friday church service and